Friday, 1 p.m. live stream. Normally, this is a stream where we just kind of hang out, chill, relax, talk about kind of whatever. We don't have any specific topics per se, although I did want to touch on an article I just found. Heretical, I can speak, Heretical Gnosticism of Darren Aronofsky's most daring film. That film being Mother. I shared that on my socials, and I think there's some interesting Masonic ideas in there. I also want to make sure I reminded everybody again about what I have coming up this week. The first big day being tomorrow, and then moving forward from there. A lot of things I'm very, very much excited for in the coming weeks, or in the coming week anyways, including another 24-hour live stream, which is going to be an absolute blast. But that is what I plan to talk about at first. We're just going to wait, and we're going to see who joins us. So let's give it a few minutes. Please, if you are just joining us, take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, jump in the chat, say hello, and let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. I picked up all of the items I plan to show off during my 24-hour live stream, which will be taking place August 21st. I'm just writing something down here quickly. I will be at the Windsor Hip Hop Festival tomorrow, starting at 12 p.m. I'm going to be doing some live streaming. I'm going to have a table set up. It's going to be a blast. Please make sure that you join. Set your notifications, all that good jazz. But for now, let's wait. Let's see who joins. And let's chat about Freemasonry. And I hope everybody also is looking forward to having what will be, I'm sure, a great weekend. Let's give it a minute. Let's see who jumps in the chat. Please jump in the chat. Say hello. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral. I'd love to hear them. Welcome, Dad. That is true. That's true for almost everybody, I think. Views are tough to change. Sanskrit Mata. Welcome, Sanskrit. I hope you're doing well. Please hit that like and subscribe button. One thing I want to talk about today is a book I read, article I read, The Heretical Gnosticism of the film Mother. But first, we're going to wait to see who joins. The first bit of the stream is always just hanging out and waiting to see who wants to chat. But Sanskrita, thank you for being here. I hope you'll hit the like button. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button. I hope you'll let me know how it's going, and I hope you will let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry. Your name is Arjun? All right, Arjun, welcome to the stream. I hope that you are doing well. I hope you'll join me tomorrow for a bit of my 12 p.m. Windsor Hip Hop Festival live stream. If you want to check out the festival in person, you can do that also. It's going to be a blast, and it's going to be at the Going to be at Atkinson Park, starting at 11 p.m., going until 6 p.m. Flavia Passerini, hello to you. I hope you're doing well. Flavia, I hope you hit that like and subscribe button also. And let me know how your day is going. By the way, if anybody out there suffers from high blood pressure, which many Masons do, new blood pressure guidelines according to CNN recommend earlier start treatment and skipping alcohol. So there you go. You know, just a heads up. I haven't read the article, talk to your doctor, etc., etc. I just saw that headline, and I know a lot of Masons who suffer from high blood pressure. Well, thank you, Sanskrita. I appreciate that. If you agree with Sanskrita, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know if you have any thoughts on Freemasonry or anything you want to talk about. These Friday streams tend to just be hangout streams, so. And Flavia, thank you for being here as well. I appreciate it very much. We're waiting to see who jumps in the chat and who wants to say hello. And who wants to chat about Freemasonry or really anything else. These Friday streams are pretty chill, pretty relaxed. Mostly it's a chance to talk about everything I have coming up that I am excited for. But welcome if you are just joining us. We got the person in from Greece once again. Hello, Greece. No worries. Yeah, I got there and I was expecting to play some chess, but you know what? It's okay. We'll play chess later, Ryan. I hope that you are doing well and there's nothing wrong with sleeping in. There's nothing wrong with sleeping in at all. It was a good one, though. I don't know if you saw the pictures on my socials. On Instagram, Gene Lotz stopped by, showed off his artwork, which was beautiful. Hello, Rose the Emoji Cat. How's it going? Please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button if you're new. Let me know how your day is going and if there's anything you want to chat about when it comes to Freemasonry. Positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. As we got the cars driving by on the road down there. Well, you don't have to be ashamed. That's a bit too much. You know, just be there next time. It'll be fun. I don't make it to coffee club all the time like I used to. I try to be a little bit more, you know, because there was a time when I never missed a single coffee club. But I'm trying to pace myself a little bit more so I don't burn out as quickly as I was before when it comes to Freemasonry and Masonic events. So, yeah, it's no trouble at all. And I know that eventually, the artist we've got there now couldn't come pick up her stuff, so it's still there. But eventually we're going to find the space for maybe Gene to put his stuff up. My Friday is going well. It's a beautiful day. Looking forward to a great weekend. I can't wait for tomorrow to be at the Windsor Hip Hop Festival. That is going to be a blast. How is your day going? How is your Friday going? And we're going to give it a little bit of time. We're going to wait for people to jump in. Like I said, I do want to read this article I found, The Heretical Gnosticism of Darren Aronofsky's Most Daring Film, otherwise known as Mother. But mostly this is just a hangout stream to see who joins and who wants to chat. Glad to hear it. So, do you have any plans for the weekend, Courtney? Do you have anything going on that you have planned for? If so, I'd love to hear it. And how is your proficiency going? I know it's a lot of work, so it takes a bit of time. But yeah, there's no rush at all on it. Just take your time and enjoy it. That's the key, right? Just take your time and enjoy the process. That's more important than anything else. Well, there is. I didn't get it this time because it was a bit expensive, but I think I may have to resend the items and actually get it tracked this time so I can pay attention to when it arrives. Unless I'm wondering if I'm going to get the items returned to me at some point. Because the fact you haven't got it yet, it's been a little bit too long. You should have received it by now, I would think. So, um, yeah, I will give it a little bit more time just to wait and see if. But it should have popped in there by now. Oh, just leave it for a day. You can do it next week. It'll be fine. Hope everybody's okay. Looks like we got some. Let's give it a second. Looks like we got some sirens outside the window. So, knock on wood. Hope everybody's okay. Good. Yeah, your sponsor's restaurant. You said it was. What type of food is it? It's like barbecue, right? It's like Texas barbecue, which I'm no doubt is the best kind of barbecue. To give you guys kind of a preview of what you can expect in about a week, give or take, check out. Let's see if I can actually get this out of here now because it's kind of stuck in the. Almost. I've got way too many of these pins. All right. All of these pins we're going to be going over, amongst other things, we're going to be going over during my 24-hour live stream. The vast majority of these were gifts. Some were actually things I bought. The vast majority of these are Masonic, some way, shape, or form. A couple of them are actually wrestling related. But yeah, all of these. So that should probably take, you would think, 24 hours in and of itself. But it's not, because then we're also going to be showing off. Let's see if I can track it down. I don't even. Oh my gosh. Honestly, going through all this stuff, half of this, I'm going to have to be telling stories or trying to remember the stories behind them. Let's see. I'm going to try. Freemasonry, Auslander Rouse is here. Freemasonry logo. It is not supposed to resemble that to my knowledge, although I could be wrong. It's very possible that I'm incorrect. I hope you're doing well, Smokey. Thank you, Auslander, for being here. Do you mean the six-sided star? Yeah, the square and compass with the G in the middle, it actually predates speculative Freemasonry by a fair bit. Um, it came originally from stonemasonry. I got these tools here, mini tools, which I'll be showing off. I've got the different flags. I got a whole bunch of gifts. And like I said, trying to go through all of these will take 24 hours in and of itself. Nice. I'm glad you got the day off. You deserve it. You've been working very, very hard. I got 1,000,000 coins like this. A lot of these you'll be able to see actually on like this one. You're going to be able to see if you join me at the hip hop festival, because at my display table is going to be a lot of, you know, masonry, my Masonic journey, and things I have in my Masonic life, and what they mean to me. And a lot of that is these coins, these pins, these pieces of metal. Oh, catfish is delicious. Sometimes it's keychains, sometimes it's gifts I got from non-Masons that have Masonic significance to me. Nonetheless, in different ways. I'm trying to reach in here and grab some of these other ones. You can hear the I got a flashlight, a Masonic flashlight. You can see the square and compasses on it. I've got 2 Masonic flashlights. I've actually got 3 Masonic flashlights. I've got a Christmas ornament, and then square and compass over here. The point is, it's going to be a ton of stuff. I think my dad ate shark once upon a time, because he worked on a boat, so he think he once ate shark, if I'm not mistaken. So other thing I gotta go through all these tonight and figure out which ones I'm gonna bring with me at the Windsor Hip Hop Festival. So I'm looking forward to doing that as well. All is well, raised eyebrow. I hope all is well with you also. I've got my book, Glenview, the First Centennial, which I'll talk about and why I got that. I've got this. Oh my God. This binder is full of Masonic mementos, some of my most favorite and most special Masonic mementos. I got it for free. They gave it to me for free as a gift. And I'll talk about how came about it and why I got it after. I mean, I'll show off all of my different pendants, including these 2. This is the Past Master's Jewel that has my grandfather's info on it. Both grandfathers. This is from my first Masonic Lodge in Windsor. I've got 1,000,000 more things like this. So basically, it's going to be a lot of really cool stuff. And I think it'll be good for me too to go through it personally, just because sometimes you can take for granted how much stuff you actually get out of Freemasonry if you are dedicated to it. And yeah, there's this binder. It's full of, you know, invitations, correspondence. And then I've got this binder full of the same, right? And so again, it's me showing off some of the different things I've got. Like, for example, let's see, my certificate of Freemasonry, my Scottish Rite certificate, my, I don't even know what some of these certificates are. Supreme Council, Scottish Rite, an old photo of Windsor Lodge. I have to be careful because I can't show all of these things, obviously, because you want to make sure you're respecting people's privacy if they don't want to be Masons or be showed as being Masons, but you still want to, show all this stuff. I am a traveler. I got this in Paducah, Kentucky. Anyways, I'm hoping that this will help encourage everybody watching this to tune in and see all of these things. What I've just showed you is like a tiny, tiny version of all the stuff I have. And Courtney got this really cool drawing sketch, which I'll talk about, who gave it to me and how I came across it. Let's see what else I got. I got some very awesome different commemorative aprons. I got this commemorative apron from the annual communication in Florida. And by the way, when I'm doing this stream over the weekend or on Thursday, I'll have my camera flipped so you'll be able to read all the writing on it. It won't show up backwards. I got this one from Puerto Vallarta. And I got this one from the Grand Lodge of Missouri, celebrating their 100th anniversary, or 200th anniversary, bicentennial. And I got another one from Missouri as well. They gave me two. I remember when I was there, one of the coolest things was, so this took place in 2021. So I'm visiting there. I went to see the Grand Master speak, and of Missouri speak, and he brought out a coin. I've got so many certificates. He brought out a coin, and he said the coin was dated 2121, and he said, with the way life expectancy is growing, there may very well come a point where you have a Mason who actually has served 100 years as a Freemason. Basically meaning he would live until, if he joined at 18, 118 years old, which honestly is not in and of itself that crazy by any means. So, we may see, who knows, the first 121-year-old Mason, 118-year-old Mason, right? This was a gift from my parents. There's a gavel that goes on it when I was Worshipful Master for the first time. We'll talk about that. I'm trying to just go through this. I don't want to show everything, but don't forget, you're not hearing the stories of all this stuff yet. And that to me is the most important thing. It's the actual stories that we share, not just the, more than anything else. Oh, I've got a dirty napkin, but there's a reason behind it. A dirty napkin with the square compasses on it. Another apron. This one was from Northwood Ancient Craft Lodge, Madison Heights. This was their table lodge on June 24th, 2023. They gave everybody an apron to wear at the table lodge. This one has definitely got beat up. Honestly, this might be a good practice me too, that I should treat my stuff better. I'm seeing a lot of this stuff. I've been, getting crumpled. Might need some TLC, especially some of these aprons. A little bit more than I give them. You're not wrong, Ryan. With technology and the way it's going, I would not be shocked at all if we start to see more 100-year Masons, 100-year Masonic service in the next, who knows how long it's going to be, in the next, I guess 100 years. In terms of Masonic coins, which are a very popular thing. see if I can find some now, just to kind of go over everything. We've got a little trowel. Table Craft Lodge, June 2023. Oh, this is somebody, First Nations Mason gave this to me. This is like smudging ceremonial stuff. Chicago Lodge coin. I don't even know if I could go through all of these and talk about which ones are my favorite. Coin there. This I think is a really pretty coin, which again, you'll be seeing more of these. No, that was a loaner from the lodge, so it's not a bad idea though to see if we can give that as a gift of some sort. That's actually a very good idea. Maybe we could see if we could, give that as a gift to somebody. Or if you're joining Freemasonry, you get to keep your apron. You pay your dues. It would cover the cost of an EA apron, which are the cheapest anyways. Oh my god, there's so many of these. I mean, obviously we'll go through them all. This is one of my favorite coins. I got two of them, but it's the Moon Landing, which I especially love since I am a member of Tranquility Lodge. Tranquility reference being on the moon. So I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, as you can imagine, it's going to be, it's funny, 24 hours seems like a long stream, and it is a long stream. However, I think I have more than enough stuff to easily manage a 24-hour stream. And it's not just going to be about the items, it's going to be about why they're important, what their history is, if I can even remember the history. But also, even more than that, information about how to preserve these items, which I'm not the best at, to be honest, but how to preserve them, how to display them, why lodges should have them. It may give you ideas on things you can do for your own lodge. Like, for example, a lot of lodges have coins. How many lodges, as gifts, choose to give out flashlights? Like this is a flashlight specifically branded from Cassia Mount Horeb Lodge number 273 in Pennsylvania. And it still works in everything. So maybe instead of going for coins, go for something like that. Or, a pen and flashlight set. Or who knows what else. You'll see them all soon. Or what's even in here? Or some, very cool paintings by Jason Durda. So, well, I mean, I've shown you a very small percentage of what you're actually going to be seeing very soon. It's going to be incredible. So please, 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 take a few minutes and set your calendars, set your watches. August 21st. Oh, don't worry, Dad. There's a million. I'm not saying I even remember for each one of these, but a lot of these pins have their own special stories. As much as possible, I'll try to remember each one. A lot of them I'm probably not going to be able to, though. But that's okay. That adds to the fun and enjoyment of it. And some of them have broken, like this one. It broke on the back, so I have to find a place to put it. And if anybody enjoys science and tech, there's a science and technology pin on there that relates to Freemasonry, and you can find out how. I've got a card for coffee roasting, which you'll find out what that's all about. Like I said, I have to go through all this stuff. It'll be a fun stream, that's for sure. Keychain from St. Clair College, there's a reason for that. We've got this really awesome painting by Jason Durda, which I'll talk about. So yeah, there's a lot of really, really cool stuff. But that is for August 21st. As Dad says, I don't want to spoil the anticipation. By the way, 10 votes. Will you join us for the August 16th live stream starting 12 p.m. Eastern from the Windsor Hip Hop Festival? Yes, 70%, no, 30%. So that's all right. Pretty decent turnout there. 7 yeses, 3 nos. And I'm sure it's going to be great. I have a lot of people joining for the first time, I'm sure. We as Freemasons should support our should support our local artists and artwork and, musicians, whatever it might be. We did that this morning at the Windsor Masonic Temple Coffee Club by letting local artist Gene Lotz display and present on his artwork to the members present, which is really, really cool. And we'll do that tomorrow by live streaming from the Windsor Hip Hop Festival. And then I'll be helping out with the Masonic Chip program as well, which should be a lot of fun. So it's going to be a great day. I'm going to have to spend, a lot of time this afternoon and evening getting ready for it, which is why this stream will probably be a lot shorter than normal. By the way, I don't know if anybody else has watched it yet, but I just watched. That's okay. You got to go to work. That's more important. Believe me, that's more important than this. Well, I mean, it depends on the jurisdiction you're in, right? Like, I wouldn't say bad to great. I'd say it goes by rank. So an entered apprentice apron, which is a plain white apron, I mean, it can't cost more than, I don't know. If it costs more than $20, I'd be amazed. But when you have a district deputy grand master or grand master apron, which is the fancy blue you need to wear with the tuxedo, it needs to, you have cufflinks with it as well. In those, or not cuff, but like Masonic cuffs, that regalia can cost over $1,500 easy. So it can be very, very expensive, those ones. Those ones can be. Oh yeah, they're not cheap. They're not cheap, unfortunately. It makes it more, it makes it more fun and interesting, though, I guess. Oh, bandits chasing a fly. Because it says something about the importance of the office, as well as the importance of the officer, and the honor of the man. Lord, I do not play Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't really play a lot of video games. I've started lately to get more into it. But I still, as a general rule, do not play a ton of video games. I don't know, I never really got into them that much, Me too. It's going to be fun. I can't wait for everything I have coming up. I can't wait for tomorrow, live streaming from the Windsor Hip Hop Festival, which I think is going to be an absolute blast. As well as August 20th at 3 p.m. live streaming from Instagram Live to try something different, as well as August 21st live streaming for 24 hours, as well as August 29th live streaming with Smokey the Clown. All of those things are going to be absolutely awesome, and I can't wait. Let's give it a few more minutes and then we'll switch over to, again, I wanted to read this idea of the heretical Gnosticism and even Gnosticism in general. One day we'll find a way. One day we'll find a way. Thank you, Courtney. I agree. Some of them are literally beautiful. Some of them, are beautiful literally as well as in terms of my emotional attachment to them. Even something like oops, I lost it. I have a keychain like a pretty cheap-ish keychain from Flixbus. Let me see if I can. Yeah, like this, a Flixbus keychain. It's nothing fancy. Probably costs like 20 cents to make, but it has a special story behind it, which I plan to share during the stream. So you guys can tune in for that. I mean, I've heard it probably tastes pretty good. I feel like it'd be really thick. Like it probably tastes like swordfish almost, like a swordfish steak. Yes, I agree. All that matters is that it has value. Whether the value is sentimental, the value is educational, the value is emotional, the value is like whatever the value might be. I think it's absolutely worth worth maintaining and worth celebrating. And that's kind of what we're meaning to do here, right? Is celebrate the value of these items and why they're valuable and what they mean. So, but I don't think we're supposed to eat shark anymore. I think they're endangered now. I don't know for sure, but I think that shark might be an endangered species at the moment. So don't eat protected or, don't eat animals that are protected. I also will be, I do believe, um, having another contest regarding my Patreon. So for people who sign up, even for free, you could win a special gift, special prize. If you're already a Patreon, then you're already eligible. Once I know for sure, I'll be sharing it on social media. So pay attention to that. Well, it could be or it could be different locations as well, right? Like I think in China, for example, sharks are protected. I could be mistaken though. I think it's just different areas. I think some places they've been overfished or overfished, and I think that there's some concern about that. So, yeah, Courtney, I feel like shark would be crazy expensive, but your sponsor, he does a lot of his restaurant, they serve catfish, right? They serve, because I love catfish. I love anything that swims in the sea or in the creek, as they say it here in Canada, or in the lake or in the river or in the ocean. If it lives in water, I like it. Um, Apparently, Savannah, Georgia. Is that your favorite? Is that your favorite food, Courtney? Catfish? Or do you have a favorite food? Ashish Lare, I hope I pronounced that correctly. Ashish, I'm doing this for a living. If you want to help me do this for a living, then go to, let me see if I can't put it in here. Go to patreon.com/square and compass and try to support me that way. Or you want to support me other ways, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I would truly appreciate it. Lobsters are great. There was a time when lobster was considered like a poor man's food, or it was considered like it was considered like a poor man's food. I'm happy I kind of wish that was still the case because then you can get it for a lot cheaper, and you wouldn't have to, wouldn't be so much. All right, Smokey, I'm going to go to Savannah, Georgia and catch a shark. How challenging is it to catch a shark? I feel like that would be like quite the fight that you would have be having, just in general, having to fight to bring in a shark. Because aren't they pretty heavy? But I guess you get a lot of meat from them. They do, but apparently not as much as people think. That's a bit of a myth. Apparently, the average shark actually doesn't like the taste of humans. When they do take a bite, it's because they tend to think we're a seal or something that they do eat. So normally, actually, what happens is, they'll take a bite from you and then they'll go away. So you might just end up missing a limb. Not that that's not a serious thing as well. But there's a lot of people walking around, missing limbs due to shark attacks. Not as many have actually died from sharks. Well, the problem there, Courtney, is how it was prepared. Because I've had octopus too, and it was absolutely delicious, not rubbery in the least. I think it just depends on how well it is prepared, or if it's prepared well. You know, Welcome, by the way. Thank you. If you are joining us, please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm going to switch over now for a moment and start talking about Freemasonry and Gnosticism. 19 and a half hours. That is dedication. Did you ever get a chance to stop during that 19 and a half hours to like eat some food or, go to the washroom? All right, Freemasonry and Gnosticism. Because there's an article I found, The Heretical Gnosticism of Darren Aronofsky's Darren Aronofsky's film Mother, that I wanted to touch on. But I want to touch on the idea of Gnosticism first, and what is it? As Margaret said, oh, you're a better man than I. The enigmatic allure of Freemasonry's ancient rituals and Gnosticism's search for hidden knowledge capture the human spirit's endless quest for enlightenment. Between the stonemason's square and the Gnostic's divine spark lies a tantalizing intersection of philosophy, spirituality, and the pursuit of esoteric wisdom. Both traditions beckon with the promise of deeper understanding and moral elevation, inviting those who are drawn to unravel the tapestries of symbols and allegories, whether through the fellowship of the lodge or the introspective journey of the soul. The paths of Freemasonry and Gnosticism represent a yearning to connect with something greater than ourselves, an impulse as old as time and as compelling as the mysteries they guard. The relationship between Freemasonry, a fraternal organization with roots in medieval craft guilds, and Gnosticism, an umbrella term for various ancient religious and philosophical movements, has been a subject of fascination for scholars, conspiracy theorists, and enthusiasts alike. This article seeks to provide a comprehensive, engaging, and easily understandable analysis of any possible links between these two diverse systems while demystifying conceptions or misconceptions for the reader. Freemasonry has its origins in medieval stonemason guilds, which organized skilled craftsmen belonging to different ranks: apprentice, fellow, master. Over time, these groups began to incorporate speculative elements, attracting individuals interested in philosophical, moral, and symbolic teachings. As Freemasonry evolved into the modern era organization, it drew on a multitude of influences, including biblical narratives, ancient mythology, and medieval practices. I would include there ancient Chinese mythology, Stoicism, Kabbalah, and more. While Masonic ideologies vary across jurisdictions, some aspects of the organizations generally remain consistent. Gnosticism, Gnosticism. Freemasonry and Gnosticism. Brotherhood, ethics, morality, improvement, philanthropy. Gnosticism encompasses a vast array of religious and philosophical movements from the ancient world that emerged during the first few centuries BC. The term Gnosticism itself derives or stems from the Greek word gnosis, indicating knowledge or insight. Gnostic groups held diverse viewpoints, but there are several quintessential themes that surface in many Gnostic systems. dualism, a dualism between the material and the spiritual, male and female, good and evil, divine spark. Gnostics assert that each individual possesses a divine spark, an element of divinity entrapped in a material body yearning to return to its divine source. Salvation, according to Gnostic traditions, salvation is attained through gnosis, a profound knowledge that liberates the divine spark from the material world and unites it with the divine realm. Archons and demiurge. Gnostic systems often described archons and the demiurge, beings who obstructs the soul's ascent to the divine realm. Though Freemasonry and Gnosticism are distinct entities with their unique historical origins, their shared symbols and themes fuel speculation on the degree of interconnectedness. One area of overlap lies in the pursuit of knowledge or wisdom. Gnostics sought gnosis, or knowledge, to attain salvations, while Masons engaged in a quest for improvement and moral growth through the symbolic and allegorical teachings. Consider the Masonic symbol of the all-seeing eye, believed to represent the watchful gaze of the Creator or the Supreme Being. While the symbol predates both Freemasonry and Gnosticism, which it does, by the way, the all-seeing eye much predates Freemasonry, Gnostic sects also appropriated the all-seeing eye to symbolize divine guidance and protection. Additionally, both systems attach great importance to light as a metaphor for knowledge, enlightenment, and spiritual awakening. A possible connection between Freemasonry and Gnosticism can be traced to the Hermetic tradition, a group of religious, philosophical, and magical beliefs originating in the Hellenistic Egypt. Hermetism syncretized Egyptian religious elements with Greek philosophical concepts, forming an esoteric tradition that persisted through the Renaissance. Some Hermetic texts contained Gnostic thought, and when the Hermetica was rediscovered in Europe during the Renaissance, it potentially influenced the development of Freemasonry. Another potential conduit between Freemasonry and Gnosticism is Rosicrucianism, an esoteric Christian movement from the early 17th century. Rosicrucianism proposed a return to the fundamental truths of early Christianity by re-emphasizing spirituality, direct communication with God, and the importance of hidden inner knowledge. The Rosicrucians movement, magical, alchemical, and Gnostic influences have been passed to Freemasonry during the 17th and 18th centuries. And by the way, if anybody at any point wants to jump in to the chat, go ahead. Challenger, you always jump on here and say stuff, but you never actually ask me any questions or respond when I ask you questions. So Challenger, welcome back. What is your basis for your statement, Freemasonry will fall like Babylon? When you say what does it all mean? I have no, life, Freemasonry, Gnosticism? What this means is there is a philosophical tradition called Gnosticism, which believes in the idea of hidden knowledge, which can be understood or learned through mystical practices. And Gnosticism has influenced Freemasonry, not exclusively, but just in terms of kind of general philosophical ideals. Challenger says Freemasonry will never take over the world. Why, Challenger, do you think we want to take over the world? I think that's the better question. Because I do not want to take over the world. I know I'm not seeing him on this screen either, but he's popping up on my mobile stream. So, for whatever reason, he is here. His name is Challenger. Challenger pops up on a lot of these streams, but he never actually responds to my questions. That Hitler was Gnostic? Well, I mean, I think a lot of people can fall into this trap. That's one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan of this idea, even though it is true. A lot of people fall into this trap of believing that there exists some type of special or hidden knowledge, and that hidden knowledge is necessary to you know, like if you get hidden knowledge, you can learn the secrets of the ancients and become super special. Like it's a very dangerous idea because a lot of people join Freemasonry with this desire. Um, oh yes, well he didn't. In fairness, he didn't. If you type in Freemasonry and Gnosticism, you're going to see it pop up. It's an article that I've been reading by the Square magazine. It's just about the connections between Freemasonry and a certain philosophical tradition called Gnosticism. Um, I've not, but I will check it out for sure. You know, I think personally, in terms of philosophical traditions that have more to do with Freemasonry, I would say, um, I would say Freemasonry borrows more from Stoicism as its main philosophical tradition, or the philosophical tradition from which it borrows the greatest amount of. It borrows the greatest kind of amount of ideals or ideas, right? And so, at least that's my experience. I think Freemasonry borrows far more from Stoicism than Gnosticism. Um, but if you consider Gnosticism as a philosophical tradition that emphasizes seeking knowledge, promoting self improvement, as well as enlightenment, moral growth, and spiritual development, then certainly I think Gnosticism and Freemasonry are connected to one another. Um, a lot of people actually believe, it's conspiracy theorists, but a lot of people think that the G that exists within the square and the compasses actually stands for Gnosticism, which it doesn't. But a lot of conspiracy theorists think that this this famous G symbol here, they think it stands for Gnosticism if you ask them, which it doesn't. But you know, it's a whole other can of tuna. And so somebody wrote an article about one of my favorite movies called Mother, saying the heretical Gnosticism of Mother. Right? And I would suggest you check that as well. Because again, it's this idea of hidden knowledge, of humans seeking hidden knowledge, of humans actually, in their attempt to seek for hidden knowledge, destroying the earth. So the danger of seeking hidden knowledge, if you will. It's worth checking out. And it's worth learning more about Gnosticism in general, as one of the influences upon Freemasonry. It holds about 2 cups. It holds about 2 of these cups. So I do not know what that is in terms of ounces. Not enough. There's never enough coffee, right? That's the thing. There's never enough coffee. No worries, Smokey. Thank you for joining as well. Let me know if you've ever get a chance to check out and learn more about Gnosticism as a philosophical tradition and the extent to which, you know, even there is a YouTube video called Freemasonry, a Child of Gnosticism. So even therein, right, Freemasonry, a Child of Gnosticism, a pure form of paganism and idolatry, which obviously it is not. Hope everybody's okay, but you know, and this is from August 8th, 2024. This video got 14,000 views on Orthodox Ethos, which has 135,000 subscribers. And again, in this case, people view Gnosticism as being opposed to the church. So he's basically saying because Freemasonry is Gnostic, Catholics, Christians should not join. So, yeah, it's more general themes, right? It's more general themes as opposed to specific relationships. But by the same token, again, Freemasonry shares themes and has actually stolen more from Stoicism, from Chinese mythology, from Egyptian mysticism, from biblical stories, from parables, like all of those things. It borrows or steals from. Pick your terminology, right? And so I think we as Freemasons, we have to be much more aware of all the people who are connecting these two things together, and what that means. I do not know what military bases from Chagos and Okinawa mean. I will say, well, it is its own separate entity, but a lot of people who are in, there are certain types of people who are Christians who believe that Gnosticism and Freemasonry are connected in very, not connected in kind of general philosophical ideas, but rather specifically connected. Like they think the G in the square and compasses is in and of itself, referencing Gnosticism, which it doesn't. So, it's one of those things where, again, like in this video I showed, basically saying Freemasonry is Gnosticism or hidden Gnosticism. Challenger, I'm not a fan of that statement. It sounds to me, I don't know if you guys can see him on the stream. There he is. It sounds to me like you are equating President Obama with Osama bin Laden, and that makes you a jerk and a troll. I'm not saying Obama was, the greatest president in the world, nor was he certainly the worst president in the world. But I don't think, I think that is kind of a D-bag thing to say about any president, really. But certainly about Obama. 13, my mind doesn't, it sounds like it's a little bit closed, Challenger, because certainly, I don't know if you're listening to the things I have to say about Freemasonry. I think you might have your mind closed in that one. By the way, 13 votes. Will you be joining us for the August 16th live stream? Yes, 62%, no, 38%. So the yeses are in the lead, which makes me happy. But yeah, so I guess the reason I want to bring up Gnosticism is just to say, as with Stoicism, Chinese mythology, Egyptian mysticism, Greek mythology, biblical stories, right? Freemasonry has borrowed or stole general philosophical ideals from all of those different groups, as well as even, Judaism, Christianity. There's even some Muslim influences, depending on which ritual you're performing in which kind of jurisdiction. But that doesn't mean that Freemasonry is Gnosticism, right? Gnosticism is a very kind of different philosophical tradition. The similarities, though, are they both emphasize this idea of hidden knowledge and searching for hidden knowledge, or searching for meaning. I would say that the main difference, though, is Freemasonry. The purpose is to take that hidden knowledge and then build, a community that is stronger. Whereas in Gnosticism, it seems the purpose is more about self-improvement exclusively. Challenger, I would say similar ideas, not even similar practices, because Gnosticism, to my knowledge, doesn't have ritual in the same way. But I would say the same, following similar ideas, but to different ways, or to different paths. Well, Challenger, So I've been a Freemason since 2007. I have been to over 1,000 Masonic events, Masonic meetings in North America, South America, Asia, and Europe. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of Masonic rituals. At no point were kids ever involved, unless you want to count Masonic youth groups like the Order of Rainbow or De Molay. But in that case, it wasn't the Masons doing any rituals at all. It's Masonic groups, kind of like, Cubs or whatever it is. They're youth groups. And I've also never seen any dark witchcraft used in any Masonic rituals. And again, I've been to, over 1,000 of them easily. When you say owl worshippers of DC, I assume you're talking about Moloch. The owl is most closely associated with Athena. Freemasonry does not really, have any connection to owls. With one exception I know of, the Detroit Masonic Temple includes an owl in its logo, and that owl is meant to represent Athena, the goddess of wisdom. Which Masonic ritual was the most challenging? Well, so I've exclusively performed ritual in Ontario because that is my mother jurisdiction. So certainly, I would say, honestly, the most challenging part of ritual for me was never actually organizing, was never actually performing any part of ritual. Maybe I always find the second degree senior warden's lecture challenging. But what I truly find challenging is actually being responsible for organizing the ritual. When you're the worshipful master and have to get everybody together, make sure they show up, make sure you have backups, make sure you know what's going on. That is absolutely exhausting. So I'd say it's not so much the ritual was challenging, it's the organization. And that was whether it's organizing in Windsor Lodge, Harmony Lodge, or Border Cities Lodge. It was very, very challenging. I highly doubt that, Challenger. I think that might not be the case, that there's a secret government worshiping an owl. I've heard people say there's some Moloch creature who's like a giant owl, but I call baloney on that. I got to call baloney on that one too, because people say the same thing about Freemasonry, right? That it's some type of international order that's secret. It's not secret. I can talk about it all I want, and it's not international, right? There's jurisdictions. In the same way government is jurisdictional, Freemasonry is jurisdictional. I think the Skull and Bones flag way predates kind of any modern governmental agencies or organizations. You're not wrong, Ryan. You're not wrong. But it's okay. I appreciate Challenger talking to me. Like I said, I don't think it was close there, but I don't think Challenger is a troll. I think he might genuinely believe kind of what he's saying, which makes it interesting to have a discussion with him. He's wrong, but that's okay. I still appreciate him being here. And I still hope he'll hit the like and subscribe button. I have no idea what the road with three heads is. Well, I mean, Challenger, I'm not going to 100% disagree with that statement in a very general sense. What I mean by that is there are definitely people, human beings, who value material wealth from things like oil, gold, and even, the selling of dangerous drugs, whether legal or illegal drugs. They value that more than anything else. And if you want to say that, therefore, that makes, therefore, those things are their God, then, that's just a matter of how you define God. But certainly there are some people who make the pursuit of wealth their God. I think that's dangerous. I think one thing Freemasonry teaches us is we must not, we can't do whatever we want. Freemasonry doesn't stop us from doing anything, but I think that it kind of teaches not to focus on material wealth, or that, how much money you have is not the most important thing about a person, or, what his status is. It's about the way he lives his life. But there are probably some people who absolutely make material wealth their god. But I don't think that's exclusive to governments by any means. I think that's almost anybody. There's plenty of people who are very poor, who are constantly doing get rich quick schemes, selling drugs, whatever it is, trying to get money without thinking about the effect it has on people. I'm telling the truth. Well, I mean, I think you believe you're telling the truth, Challenger. I don't believe that you're lying, or that you think you're lying. But I have lived enough Freemasonry that I think I can adequately push back against the ideas, right? Because you're not wrong. You live it, you see it. I've lived a lot of Freemasonry again since 2007. I certainly don't know everything, but I feel like I've seen enough that I'm comfortable or confident in pushing back against your ideas. Well, no. What he said above is their god. Their god equals gold, oil, and drugs. I think he's referring to governments. And again, it's not a government thing, but I do agree with him a little bit that there are people, I'm sure within government as well as outside of government, as well as on the street, as well as everywhere in between, who place the pursuit of material wealth above anything else, and that's very dangerous. I'm not sure who they is. Um, to my knowledge, the Pentagon is not on fire. Uh, Freemasonry is not lighting anything on fire. People have lit Masonic buildings on fire, which is why I think we need to take our Masonic building security seriously. But beyond that, and even though Challenger, I do hope you will take the time to join me on my live stream tomorrow from the Windsor Hip Hop Festival, August 16th, 12 p.m. EST. It's going to be an absolute blast, I have no doubt. Well, I mean, if Ryan's saying yes, don't, I mean, for heaven's sakes, don't make wealth, don't make the pursuit of wealth your primary thing, including, by selling drugs or whatever it is to get there. Do not do any of that. That's not cool. Um, but I will be, even though I'd love to keep this stream going, I will have to cut it short because, again, I have to get ready for tomorrow. I still have to print out a whole bunch of stuff and prepare some signage. I can't wait to be there. Thank you to my good friend Duan for organizing this event and for inviting me out. I truly, truly appreciate it. It's going to be an absolute blast. I don't know why Mr. Keeps on Ticking is saying, oh my God. But yes, I will repeat, do not make the pursuit of material wealth the most important thing. That's not good. Whether it's gold, oil, drugs, whatever it is, there's more important things than that. Like your character, right? At the end of the day, it's your character that matters more than anything else. He may have jumped off the stream, which is fine. Challenger can jump on. I am busy all the time. I'd like to get more sleeping if I could. That would be nice. But there's that song from the movie Practical Magic, which actually I've got here somewhere. Where did I put it? It's gone. It's one of my favorite movies. Now it's bugging me. How quickly I lose the thing. Oh, here they are. There's this song by Stevie Nicks and Sheryl Crow. I can't remember what it said, but Practical Magic. One of the lines is, My mind don't rest and I don't sleep, which is um, one of my a line I can relate to. Don't be don't have Challenger press your buttons, Harry, Dad. I mean, I've worked with. I'm trying to think of the right way to say this. Um, you know, I spent 5 years working in a jail, 5 years as a probation officer. I volunteered at a bunch of different places for people having different challenges. Sometimes good people um, can break in different ways for different reasons. And when I say break, I mean they can go through some type of challenging experiences, and in the process of going through those experiences, grasp some grasp some type of ideology or belief to hold on to that's not true, or in some cases very damaging. Sometimes that can be anti-Freemasonry, and they can um, use anti-Masonic ideas to kind of bring them comfort while they're struggling. Some people use drugs, alcohol. Some people use religious intolerance or bigotry. Some people use there's a million different ways, and I think Challenger. Um, I don't know anything about you, Challenger, but I think that Challenger, you may have fallen for some. Um, like I said, I think maybe you're struggling a bit, and you find some comfort in anti-Masonic ideas, but you are unfortunately incorrect. Even when you say they see us as cattle, I assume you mean they as in Freemasons. I can assure you, since I am a Freemason, I do not see anybody as cattle. I see cattle as cattle because I like to eat beef and cows. Beyond that, though, I I do not see people as cattle, nor do any Masons I know see people as cattle. Um, categorically, you are incorrect. I like milk as well. That is true. I like cows, and I like cows for meat, and I like milk with cereal. I need strong bones. Honestly, Challenger, this is probably my hottest take in the world, at least in the world of literature. I never enjoyed 1984. That was my least favorite book. The first time I read it was in grade 8, and I did not like the book at all. Then I reread it I don't remember when, in the mid 2010s, didn't like it the second time. And then I watched the movie and did not like the movie. So I never liked that book at all. I enjoyed Animal Farm. I liked Animal Farm a fair bit. Didn't like 1984. I thought it was badly written and just a bad book. Um, Saying someone's ideology is the cause of a psychological defense mechanism is so condescending. I mean, I guess, although I think it's also true for better or worse. I've seen it enough times where um, I mean, ideology is a very broad term for it, but I met enough people in really bad places in their lives who shared conspiratorial kind of ideas that it's hard to look at it another way, right? So, for example, I knew a few people in my previous lives who had very negative views about Jewish people. Um, and they felt like the fact that their life was in shambles was because of a Jewish conspiracy. I mean, if you want to call that their ideology, that's fine, but I think it was a matter of them finding comfort in creating a conspiracy regarding Jewish people, right? And it could be any group, right? So, yeah. Now that's not the only way. Sometimes it's mental illness. Sometimes it's just what they believe, and their life is great. But rarely have I seen someone whose life is going well um, believe in a lot of this kind of stuff, right? So when somebody says like so and so is so and so is stupid or whatever it is, it's like I'm not a fan of that. I'd rather believe that they're not stupid people, they're intelligent people, or they could be intelligent people. Rather, um, they're looking for some type of explanation to help them understand a world that doesn't make a lot of sense to them. So, you know, I don't know, Mr. Keeps on Ticking. I feel like this has become the Cameron recommends movies to people. But if you've ever seen this movie called Bug, B-U-G, starring Ashley Judd, I think that kind of best expresses my philosophy on this. How and why people fall into ideologies of conspiracism, and it could be anti-Masonry, it could be anti-Jewish, it could be anti-whatever it is. Um, the main character, I mean, there's two characters in it. One, I believe, is just suffering from mental illness, but the other one isn't. But the other one is suffering from a lot of other issues, PTSD and past abuse and substance abuse. And I think that the ideology that especially the woman adopts, or the beliefs that she adopts, is based on coping with a lot of challenges in her life. And, you know, if you didn't know her, you didn't know what she was going through, and you just met her for the first time at the end of the movie, you might say that she's kind of, you know, so in the movie Bug, if you met Agnes, who's the main character, at the end of the movie, you'd probably say, oh, Agnes is stupid, or Agnes is dumb. But because you know what she's been through and how she came to believe what she's believing, you recognize and understand she's actually not stupid or dumb. She's just trying to navigate um, the way that she's feeling, the justifiable way that she's feeling, and the best way she could find is by falling into these ideas. You're also going to see that in this movie coming up with, who's the guy from Parks and Recreation? Ron Swanson. He's been on a bunch of stuff. Cameron Lodge of Initiation through cinematography. Yes. I mean, I often view the world through movies and television. I think because I was born in 1983, I kind of grew up in a time when media was so ubiquitous. I can't help but view the world in that way. Challenger, what religion are the bankers who supported both sides of World War II? I'm not a big fan of that question, Challenger, because I think I know what you expect me to say. But to my knowledge, there was many different religions represented in banking, both during World War II and in 2025. All the people I meet with at the bank are not Jewish to my knowledge. So, you know, I guess I don't ask them what their religion is, but I think one, if I recall correctly, is actually Sikh. Because I've got a few Sikh Masonic brothers, and the banker had something on their desk that I think, if I recall correctly, was Sikh. I think. But yes, I mean, you know, Moneyball, From Hell, Bug, B-U-G, starring Ashley Judd, and Practical Magic. I would recommend all of those movies because they're all great. But yeah, I'm not a fan of, even like when even if somebody's saying negative things about Freemasonry or whatever it is, I'm not a fan of when people, I understand why they're doing it and they're sticking up for Freemasonry and they're sticking up for me, and I appreciate that. But I'm not a fan of calling them stupid on the stream, because again, we don't know what the circumstances were in their life where they found a level of comfort or belief in those ideas. No, not even thin skin. I just think they're sticking up for me. And I do appreciate that, right? I do think that's very kind of them. And sticking up for Freemasonry. And honestly, for me personally, there is part of me that when someone talks negatively about Freemasonry, I have a knee-jerk reaction. And I don't even have knees, nonetheless. Um, but, I have a knee-jerk reaction to kind of want to view them as dumb or view them as stupid. But I try to think, okay, they were once upon a time a baby. They grew up, they went through their life. A lot of things that happened in their life they probably had no control over. So I should probably not be so quick to negatively assume them and assume they're coming from a good place. That's why I'm so hesitant about the label of troll. I try not to apply that label um, too quickly, right? I will tend to assume that if somebody jumps on the stream and they're saying something that is something incorrect, I'll tend to assume they are honestly incorrect as opposed to there being a troll. The exception would be if they start to say, like, if they're on my stream and they say Freemasonry sucks, and then they go into another stream and say Freemasonry is the greatest thing ever, then I'll assume they're a troll. But if they're saying the same thing on every stream, I tend to assume that they're just being legitimate. I would agree with that quote, Mr. Keeps on Ticking. I would stick up for you personally, but not the orgs. Well, if you can stick up for me personally, maybe one day you'll get a different view of the orgs I belong to, right? Maybe it's step one is you like me personally, and step two is you appreciate the organizations to which I belong. Right. I would love to stay on these streams longer, but I do have to, at some point, get back into my, like I said, I've got a whole bunch of stuff I need to prepare for tomorrow. I am way behind schedule, but I am looking forward to being at the Hip Hop Festival. It's going to be an absolute blast. And so, yeah, I think we'll have to call this stream off for the day. Please take a moment, though. I'll give this one last shout out. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment, set your calendars for tomorrow. And yeah, I will go and print my flyers. All right, guys, have a great time. And look up, aside from watching the movie Bug, look up Freemasonry and Gnosticism. Learn more about the way those two groups connect. Sorry, Carl, I got to run. Tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern, set your watch. I'll be streaming from the Windsor Hip Hop Festival. It's going to be an absolute blast. All right, guys, thank you so much. I will see you guys later.